truly happy for regular black people having success as we are, for celebrities and athletes. So last year I made, hundreds of thousands of dollars, as I showed you guys in the DVD. And, success is really contingent on, how you plan, how you really build on the foundation that you started in the beginning. And one of the things that I talked about is, that foundation, as I said, and really having that plan set to really spend your money wisely and use the money that you have coming in the correct way, and stop falling victim to, overspending and blowing your money on stuff that you really do not need. When you begin to start to have a, stable process for your foundation to basically, you got this money coming in, what your bills is going to be, as I talked about in DVD, this amount of money has to go to, your bills, you want to put a little bit in savings and, pay off a little bit of debt that you can, or whatever debt you can if you have a lot, and, really work out a situation where you have this progress, happening. And that's the main thing, progress. You want it to be progress every time. Every time you get paid, there should be some kind of progress. Plain and simple. It shouldn't be, you behind, and some of you are just going to be behind automatically, before you start this, but you want to get out of that. And then eventually you want to get to a point where there's progress. Every time you get paid, there's some kind of progress. Something's getting paid off, money is being saved. You're getting closer and closer, to whatever goal that you may have set for yourself. Some kind of progress should always, occur when you have that money. You shouldn't have any real setbacks. And if you did everything correctly, when there is a setback, you have that contingency to get you out of it. And again, this is a realistic process. I understand a lot of people are not going to be able to do, exactly what I talked about, but there's ways around, any kind of flaws or problems you may be in, today. Now, one of the questions I got, and I was shocked to get it from multiple people, but of course we know this is the problem. This is the issue. A lot of you guys have records. And this is something I used to do when I was in law school. I helped so many people in Philly, because I knew the process, get their record expunged. And a lot of people don't understand that process of, okay, so if you had a felony and your record, since that time has been clean for at least 5 to 7 years, it varies depending on your state, you can then go ahead and apply for a pardon, like a full pardon. And if this is something that you are trying to do, I'm going to give you a heads up and, let you know, you should be doing your best to do whatever community service that you can do. Working with PAL, working with any after school programs, you want to get on record. Go to the library is one of the best places. They'll take you in and say, hey, you want to volunteer? You can volunteer. Do as much volunteer work as you can. Get that on record. Go to school. That's another one of the most biggest things that you can do, is to go back to school if you don't have a degree. Because what's going to happen is once you start the process of getting that ball rolling on getting your pardon, what happens is the governor's office will basically send out a parole officer, believe it or not. A parole officer, probation officer, what have you, will come out and they will basically interview you and ask you questions, and they want to see what have you been doing during that time since, the incident happened up until present day. And if you're, community service and you're in college and everything like that, all those points goes towards your pardon and helping you expunge your record. I have helped so many people do it. And I think I talked about this progress years ago in a previous video. But, they go back and take this information, and it takes a little while, but it's months. But, for the most part, it's successful. And people get the pardon and, poof, your record is expunged, and you have a clean record all over again. Now, of course, this is tougher to do if you murdered somebody and stuff like that. But, if you sold drugs, easy. That's one of the easiest ones, believe it or not, to get completely wiped off. You stole something, another thing, easily wiped off. You got caught stealing from a store or something like that. Misdemeanor, easy. It's just anything that's violent. It's the ones they really have trouble with pardons. But I have 2 successful ones where it was, violence. But again, the people had done really well after the incident, and there was no more incidents and no more issues, and their life was doing great. after that. But you can get yourself a partner that will allow you to go ahead and, get that job that you've been trying to get, or, what have you. And, they look at everything these days. It's not hard no more. You can look up damn near anybody and look at their background and, see what they got if you know how. But this has been hindering a lot of people having these records, and a lot of people are still stuck working these corny jobs, and they feel like, well, I don't want to go to school and get a degree because I have this record, and what's the point? I'm gonna go to school for all these years and get a degree, and then when I go try to get a job, they're not gonna hire me because I got this record. And it's not the case, especially if you have like a bachelor's or a master's or what have you. And if it's something small, even selling drugs, or even stealing something or anything like that, it's not looked upon, 4 years, 5 years later, you went and got your degree, no new charges, you're doing well. A lot of jobs, a lot of companies will, dismiss that completely and say, they'll give you a second chance. Now, we all got to start somewhere. So even, once you get back in the workforce, the goal is to use this time, use this business, whoever you're working for, to eventually establish your own thing, to eventually open your own business. And that's what we need more of so much from Black people, is to really establish our own businesses. And I mean, how long is this going to last? I mean, how long are we going to go back home and keep seeing all these other people in our neighborhoods and no Black businesses, and just to know, to be conscious that this money is not going to help us? And we continue to go and just patronize these people who are not putting any money back in that community. And, that's the issue. We so screw economically, and we're not looking at the problem and saying, why am I going to keep funding this issue? We all know it. So, I would much rather take the time, go outside of my neighborhood. I know it's convenient. The store's right on the corner. I would rather take the time to go out of the neighborhood, to go to a supermarket and, buy food and get whatever I need from there, than to patronize these corner stores, these Chinese stores and these stores that's not putting money back in the community. A lot of the time, some of the Dominican stores, the Puerto Rican stores, or what have you, if you have them in your hood, some of those guys live there. So, even though the money is not per se going back into that community, it's going, overseas. But in those cases, it's a little bit different. But it's the same thing. We don't have these Black stores in our community, and this is what we should have, and this is what we should be striving towards, and working towards having a business somewhere. A lot of people don't know what to do because we have been trained to work for others and not work for ourselves. And we go to school to learn how to work for other people. Now, this is part of the problem. We have this whole inclusion thing, to where we say, well, white people doing it, this must be the right way. And it's not the case in many of the cases. And you got to understand, they're going to college as well to get good jobs or what have you. But 9 times out of 10, they are going to be the ones that's going to be president of those companies. They're going to be the ones who's going to be in higher positions in those companies. You're just going to be a low-level worker. So it's really beneficial to them to go ahead and go to college to get into these positions, because 9 times out of 10, their parents own a corporation, or somebody they know owns the corporation, or they're going to get, president, secretary, or what have you, high position in a lot of these corporations. Whereas you, Black man, Black woman, what are you going to be doing? You're going to be behind a desk or mopping the floor, cleaning the bathrooms. It's how it is. So it's like, what is the whole thing about going to school if your whole focus is to work for this person for the rest of your life? To what end? And we have been trained to have this mindset, and we are so far behind where we, at some point, we really have to urgently begin to start establishing Black businesses and corporations to help us, in the future, if we're going to have any kind of say-so economically in what happens in the Black community. Because right now we don't have a voice, because we don't have nobody that's Black to use their money, to use their influence and power to lobby for anything in the Black community. So we get what we get. And that's the game. That's the game right there. Plain and simple. Don't really give too much shit about your race, your color. That's part of it, but it's not the whole thing, because money talks. And when you have money, you have influence. When you have money, you can do certain things. And we don't have this organized money system to where we can go ahead and have a voice for, what's going to happen in our community and what's going to benefit us in our community. So we are basically, subject to whatever they say we can have. So it's like, what do we got? And what are y'all going to give us? What are y'all going to do for us? And that's what it is. We keep saying, what's up? What's next? Instead of making a change and doing something, we sitting back waiting for it to just happen. and it's never anything that's going to be really beneficial to us. So, you know, it's really important, and it's just so much that goes along with us not establishing black businesses and not supporting black business. That is the reason why we are in such a low state right now. So I'm really appreciative of the people who support, because this is something that I was mindful of, that I wouldn't get much support, because I just know how my people is. And it's just, a lot of people are for the revolution. People are for anything that has to do with, you know, uplifting black folks, and anything that has to do with going against the establishment and the powers that be. People want to hear that kind of talk. They want to hear something that has to deal with change, anything that has to do with us fighting back, or us, you know, coming together, or doing something that's different from what we've seen. But as soon as it comes to money, this is where people check out. People don't want to support. And the revolution, as I said, must be funded. Plain and simple. There's no way in the world we can do this and we can move forward if we are not willing to help each other with it, with the process. And, you know, as much hate as you may have, or much you may feel or be, you know, jealous of a person that's doing something huge and establishing a black business, whether it be a salon or barbershop or clothes or what have you, you have to support them specifically for that reason, because it's going to benefit you. It's better look for you and your future. You may not see it or receive direct benefits right away, but it's really in the long run going to benefit you. And if you don't understand that, then we're never going to come out of the situation. So everything that you like to hear and feel and focus on and get proud of as far as Black Revolution, you are killing that when you don't support your own, and we don't support the progress of yourself and your future and your kids' future. What's the point? What's the point? And the crazy thing, you know, I have over now on Instagram over 1,000 followers. I have 46,000 on YouTube. But as I said, in America, less than 200 people support. So it's 1,000 people who just newly follow me on Instagram. Less than 200 have actually purchased DVDs. I know the number, I know the count, I know who the people are. And as I said, it's more sales in Europe, in Africa. And Africa has a beat here. But part of that is due to the reason that they hindering, you know, my links, and they sabotage me. But at the same time, people know by now. I have 31 DVDs out. People know I'm putting them out. People can see. I put them in the preview before the video. People can see. So now I understand that it's not so much that it's being hindered. It's the fact that people just don't want to support. Plain and simple. People just don't want to buy. And, you know, it's how it is. And it's something that I accepted a long time ago and say, you know what? The people who really appreciate and understand the magnitude of the situation will support. And again, it's not as if this is something that, you know, I rely on personally. It's something that I put out, to really be able to get the most important information out. Unfortunately, once I put it on YouTube, it's gone and they take it down, or I can't put in everything I want to put in. So it is what it is on that. So it's just one of the things I wanted to point out, you know, because a lot of people got this notion that I'm making a killing off of these DVDs and downloads, and it's just not the case. The support is not really there. And it's one of the reasons why I stopped, you know, doing previews. I'm not going to be putting out the preview videos anymore, because I feel like at this point, the people who want the DVDs, who want the videos, they're going to buy. It's the same people, the people who know what I put out and what I do and the type of information that I focus on, I put out. You understand what's going on. You guys know who you are. But, you know, at this point, the people who are going to buy are going to buy. Anybody who needs to see a preview or wants to preview the video or whatever like that, you know how my content is. Plus, I've been at this, you know, for years, so, you know, people know, you know, the type of content I've been putting out. So, you know, the main thing is, you know, I really wanted to get people to open their minds up and understanding the importance of establishing their business in the future, supporting the business that is here, that is out, Black businesses, and really, you know, being more engaged in anything having to do with, you know, supporting Black corporations and Black companies that's actually trying to do things to help people, you know, start businesses. And it's something that we're going to get into in this series, you know, because there's a lot of companies out there, a lot of corporations that, and I'm actually dealing with one right now, I'll probably touch on that, that's willing to put up money, willing to help you bring Black businesses to your community, you know, to your city or what have you, if everything is right. You know, so, I mean, it's almost like, you know, when you start to understand a lot of these companies, these corporations, is one of the things I was going to be displaying in this website that I'm working on. This social media site, really catered towards that purpose. But it's a lot of companies out there, a lot of black people with money, millionaires, got crazy money that's really looking forward to investing in black businesses. The problem is bringing everybody together correctly. And we don't have a platform for that. And their websites that they have is not enough to get people to come together, because we have social media in a way that's hindering that. And even when you do share, and when people do promote that, as soon as people see it, they automatically think, one, it's a white company, and two, they don't understand the magnitude or how to get involved with such a corporation that can help them establish a business. And it's a lot of them out there, and I really want to bring that to you guys. But you got to be correct, and you got to have a business plan, got to be right. You got to have at least some kind of startup money. You got to have everything lined up correctly to where it's worth it for them to go ahead and put their foot out there and put their money out there to help you get to where you're trying to be. And we need to have more black entrepreneurs and more black people trying to figure out how to establish a business and come up with a new business. I'm all about having multiple incomes, and now I'm probably going to start putting out clothes. I'm probably going to start work on this clothing line. I've actually been working on it for a while now, to where I want to sell like shirts and hats and socks and stuff like that that's dealing with conscious content, conscious clothing. And it's a huge market for that right now. Just like I talked about in the DVD about Airbnb, I'm getting into that as well. Huge market for Airbnb right now, especially here in Vegas and LA. So, I always look for the next move. So I've been here in America for a while for that purpose, to get these things off the ground and get them running and just bring in more incomes this year, to add to the whole process. But, again, it's tough. I hate to say it that way, but you got to really put yourself in a position to where, now you have to become the person who doesn't, you have to plan to not rely on black folks. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. And a lot of people are finding themselves in that position. It's just like, if we get the support, we get the support. But if not, you can't let that break your company and break your situation. I had to move out of goddamn company to get support. All the black people I tried to help with my software to try to help them grow their business, they didn't want to even hire me. So I had to leave the country for that. I mean, it's a messed up thing. But, you have to plan your situation to not be relying on one demographic or one group of people, and just try to, have something to where you'll be successful no matter who is there to support you. And I get a lot of support from white folks. It's one of the things that kill me. Not that I don't appreciate the support. It's just like, damn. I mean, it's sad. When I used to hear people say that, I used to get mad that they said it. But it's real, and it's one of the things I've been experiencing. It's real. It's a shame. But I understand. It's a mindset that we have been crippled with, that we have, to where we don't want to support our own. And it's messed up when you see that so many white folks support you and, donate and all that kind of stuff. And it's just, of course I understand they're in a better position to do so. But at the same time, it's like, it's sad. It's messed up, because, you hear a lot of black people say, well, I ain't got it. But then they go spend that money on something that it's not important, and it's going to their oppressor. And it's messed up. But this is what we face. And I speak to this problem, to try to raise awareness into all of you, to understand that this is something that you may do. This may be something that you suffer from, or a problem that you have. And you got to really be mindful of it and check yourself, check yourself and just make sure that you are not hindering, the progress of anything you want to do in the future, or anything your kids might want to do, by having this emotion that, this feeling that I don't want to support this nigga. I don't want to support this black person, I don't want to see them successful. And it's just something that you got to be mindful of. So yeah, I wanted to really touch on this because a lot of emails, a lot of people hit me up about the latest DVD. Not too much I want to talk about in this video. I just wanted to really touch on the things I touched on. But, to get people to understand that, it's not as hard as you think it is. As I talked about in the DVD, it's not as hard, especially being a person that came from zero, to where I'm at. But it's a mindset. It's a mindset. You got a mindset, you got to have a foundation, and you got to be willing to sacrifice, and have the focus, and don't be deterred by your own self-doubt and fears. And don't be worried about what everybody else is doing as far as, their success and what they're doing and everything like that. Just focus on you and focus on what you can do. And, any type of issues you may have, may it be credit or, loans or what have you, all stuff that can be fixed with the proper plan and using. I mean, it's so many companies now that's just geared towards this. And we're going to get into this in the series. A lot of people don't understand, like, you have debt consolidation programs that's all they do. And they will go and really fight to, one, get the collectors off of you, and two, to help you come up with the best type of consolidation, to where they'll actually go to all the creditors and say, listen, what's the lowest you can go? This is what they can pay. Can we make a deal? To basically get you to pay. I mean, in some cases, like $2. I've seen a case when somebody was paying 17 cents to pay back debt that they own. And then you're paying that down. And if you're making the payments on time, it reports on your credit. It boosts your credit score right up. I mean, it's so much out there that we don't know about. And because we're not willing to look into it or to invest in people that's trying to bring this to your attention or even listen to them, a lot of people are stuck and they have problems. This is something I'm hoping to fix this year, or at least by next year, to bring all the resources that's out there to your attention so you can see it's a way to fix your economic situation. So we'll see. But I want to thank you guys for taking the time to watch. Thanks to everybody who supports and been supporting from day one. See you guys next video.